Bullying is a thing commonly looked down by most people. So when you see someone getting bullied, most people think the best thing to do is just help them out. But what if I told you that wasn't the best idea? What if I told you the best choice is just turn around and mind your own business? Because in certain situations, that's the best option. Because not every situation is what you think it is. Going off that though, let's talk about the manga called Venus Put Fur on Me. This manga was released in 2018 and it spans over 213 chapters long. Even though the manga is completed, only about half of it was translated into English. So if you want to read the whole thing, you have to wait until the rest of it gets translated. By the way, this is manga only. To the best of my knowledge, this doesn't have an anime. So with that, let's do a brief overview of this manga. The manga starts off with you in a classroom setting with all the students staring at one girl sitting down. Why are they staring, you ask? Because it revealed that the girl is tied to a chair and she was forced to stay overnight at school tied up. Luckily though, nobody has to wonder who did it because everybody already knows who did it. And that would be her bully Nakajima, who often bullies her every day, sometimes turning extremely violent. But no one would say anything. Like for instance, when Nakajima decides to help Shirosaki out by writing a suicide note for her, just before he tries to hang the bitch. But one day a guy in class decides it's not right for her to get bullied anymore, and his name is Tanaka. Or I would like to call him Captain Save-Ho, because that's his whole main goal in the manga, just to try to help Shirosaki. So when he decides to stand up Nakajima, it really doesn't work because he immediately met with a punch in the face. I actually find this kind of funny because like 5 seconds later the teacher walks in and Tanaka tries to snitch it, but the teacher doesn't believe him. Plus when the teacher asks Shirosaki herself if she's being bullied, Shirosaki straight up says no. This is the moment that Tanaka realizes that the classroom is kind of fucked up, but he doesn't know nothing, and I'll tell you why. But before I tell you why, let's establish a few things really quick. Because some of you may think that Tanaka is the main character, but he isn't. Nakajima is. By the way, all this happened within the first chapter. The story just wants to show you an outside point of view, because throughout the major of the story, we are focused on mainly Nakajima and his shitty life. Why is it shitty, you still ask? I'll tell you why. After school, Nakajima leaves and decides to go to a house, but it isn't his own. Upon entering the house, he is attacked by a person, and to my surprise, the person who attacked him is the same person he bullies at school, Shirosaki. At this moment, it's shown that Nakajima actually doesn't like bullying, he's just being forced to bully Shirosaki by Shirosaki, and he actually wants to stop the bullying altogether. But Shirosaki doesn't care about none of it, because she reminds Nakajima what type of relationship that they are in. And the type of their relationship they are in, if Nakajima decides to stop bullying for any reason, he basically chose to stop breathing too, because she would try to kill him, or punish him at least. I find their whole dynamic of their relationship interesting to say though, because even though it's shown that Shirosaki is clearly two-faced, Nakajima on the other hand have no idea why he's in this situation to begin with, or how he was picked in the first place. But it doesn't matter because he somehow seems to make it work given the fact that everyone in the classroom is scared of him and the teacher decides not to do shit at all. By the way, it's revealed later that the teacher doesn't do shit because he's currently getting blackmailed by Nakajima because he took a picture of him going to a hotel with a schoolgirl, high school specifically. So there should be nothing in Nakajima way when he tries to bully Shirosaki. Well, that's until he tries to bully her again and Tanaka jumps in and decides to be a hero. This may not seem like much of a problem, but it is to Nakajima, because as soon as he turns and sees Shirasaki's face, she looks extremely pissed. Don't worry though, Nakajima gets a flashback like any main character. The flashback is the last time he failed to bully her in class, and she decided to give him a punishment since he couldn't do the bullying. And what was the punishment, you ask? Attempted murder. But luckily he hits the top of the truck, avoiding the fall and living. But since he lived, you know what that means, right? He's still Shirasaki's bully. Shirosaki tells him that there won't be a next time if he fails to bully her again. After this, Tanaka decides to run out of the classroom to snitch again. But Nakajima can't chase him because if he stops the bullying, his ass is grass. So he locks the door and covers the windows to continue the bullying. After he's finished with all his bullying, the teacher finally gets in. But at this point, all the students in his classroom are too scared to snitch. So with no evidence, Nakajima avoids getting in trouble again. After this, he receives a little bit of praise from Shirosaki, and she goes to whisper in his ear to let him know that if he would have fucked up again and stopped bullying her, she will have fucked him up. This doesn't last too long, however, because they're once again interrupted by the classroom hero, Tanaka. Rereading the manga, I honestly feel bad for Nakajima, because since he just doesn't have control over certain situations, he often gets punished by Shirosaki. Even though all the punishments aren't murder attempts, he often gets punished still pretty harshly. Like when she pulled off some of his teeth, showing that she doesn't mind making this man go crazy for things he can't control. Or like how a different time where he straight up just tells her that Tonica keeps getting in the way, and her response to that is tell him to quit being a bitch and deal with it. Honestly though, that probably not be the worst part, considering the fact that he slowly begins to realize that unless he leaves in a coffin, sure Saki has no intentions of letting him go. I could talk a lot more about this manga, but I only talked about the first 5 chapters because I wanted to give a vague idea about what the story is really about. Plus I want people to go read it for themselves because I feel like it's actually a good story. Well, if you don't mind the intense torture and violence that it is, or bullying. But besides that, it's pretty solid, so check it out.